please keep your own mind, your own heart more compassionate. If possible, serve other, helping other. Microphone. Where is the microphone?
Who is going to read? You have.
Now, I prefer.
You have
it's a question
collected
from the audience.
The audience wants to
not just here.
Questions from the audience.
Ka. I see. You collected. But still, I prefer, you see, direct question, directly. So long time permits, I want to take question directly. Otherwise, some people may say some censor here.
That's true.
Yes, start.
You're right, Your Holiness. I am a censor. So, Your Holiness, stress makes us forget basic human values. And we seem to have a lot of stress in our lives today. What can we use to counter this?
Stress.
Now, stress ki maranzu mi rang shin lenge sangbudi jejunga taw chigdos. Jejunga.
Jejunga.
Na jejunga taw chigdos. Na meba suyo tu an di
stress channels jejunga.
No. Stress ki genchen.
Di stress ki gengi semba sangbu yende zubat korane.
Kare.
Stress ki gengi
Ka.
Stress ki gengi.
Ale. Yes, it is true. But stress, I think, we can see people or individual human being, you see, having same experience, difficult experience, but someone still remain peaceful. Someone much agitated. So that shows individuals' way of thinking make differences. So therefore, stress is not, I think, entire humanity facing that kind of problem. I think we have the method or ability. You see, someone has some sort of ability to tackle the source of stress, the cause of stress. I think 8th century's Nalanda master is stated, when we face some problem, think that problem, if you can overcome that problem, then no need much worry, make effort. If that problem, no way overcome, then no use too much worry, too much sad. It's very practical, very practical. And then also you see, every event, as I mentioned earlier, event not some independent absolute, but due to other factor. So our attitude, our mental attitude, you see, towards the problem, look from wider perspective, that problem will not disturb you much. If the problem, just look only that problem, then more disturbances. So therefore, I think in some kind of problem, 7 billion human beings, everyone have some problem. If human nature is such with problem, too much stress, then I think 7 billion human beings all become mad. Some people, it's too much stress, too much worry, and alcohol, or drugs, or worst thing, suicide. But same time, same place, same people, same condition, some with that problem still remain happy. So now these are, I think, a way of thinking. Thinking through training make differences. So, yes, next question.
Your Holiness,
If you feel through prayer that stress disappear, then you pray.
Your Holiness, what role can elders play in this effort of ours to revive our ancient knowledge and help us young people?
And the language, language.
No.
Huh? As I briefly mentioned, it's wonderful. I think when India become independence, I think if Mahatma Gandhi remain bit longer, may you see develop certain sort of new ideas and new thinking. But in any way, now past is past. Now still, this nation, most populated democratic country, comparatively peaceful. Of course, in spite of some problem here and there, I think generally very peaceful. And still, rule of law or democracy, sometimes not some problem here and there, but generally, overall, I think very nice. I think this 1,000-year-old tradition, ahimsa, with that religious harmony, still there. So now on top of that, you should pay more attention about your 1,000-year-old sort of knowledge, training of mind, not through prayer, not through meditation, but through education, through awareness. I think that, and not too late, I think you must make effort. And perhaps I think because of the little bit of the selfish or social because of the. And anyway, I don't know the proper word. So long, some people who trained and have fuller knowledge about this ancient Indian knowledge. So long these people there, I think this is a right time to use their knowledge. Although you see, we determined to keep this knowledge. Now last 57 years as a refugee, one of our top priority is preservation of this knowledge. Not only interest for Tibetan, but interest for entire sentient being, and particularly Buddhist. So, but time passes, you see, these people eventually disappear. So long these people available, I think you should make some, because of the more effort, you see, to use their knowledge. Okay. And including myself. Of course, my knowledge, compared to this good scholar, my knowledge is very limited. But my mind is quite sharp. So with this limited knowledge, I can expand. But where? So therefore, that person, now this person, now also now, almost 82-year-old, so not much time. So please use opportunity. If you neglect, once these people gone, then only rely on books. I think it is much easier, much better these books explained by human, as a human being with experience is much useful. Next.
Your Holiness, we have many
Oh,
students.
then also I think
No.
sometimes I feel in South India, our monastic institution, the big monastic institution, some local Indians already there. Now, you see, of course, the Indian from Ladakh, from Kasadi, Arunachal, I think over 1,000 students already there. Then also from Plain, I think more and more Indian join. For the time being, you see, in order to join these monastic institutions, you should be celibate. We are thinking seriously some kind of sort of education,
Academic.
education center can sort of study these things, irrespective whether even whether believer or non-believer, whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist, or monk or lay people. That I think we can. There are some sort of institution, students, monk, lay people, so these I think these type of sort of institution I think we can increase. One example in Delhi, the Tibet house here, you see, in order to join class in Tibet house, it's not necessary to become monk or nun. So everybody usually can come like that. So I think now I have this sort of impression, really learned people who have this potential is more or less isolated in the Karnataka state. Now time come, must utilize their knowledge like that. So, that's one way. Then next question.
Your Holiness, we have many students and teachers here. So this is a very pertinent question. How can educators, teachers, make education more holistic for students?
그래서 두 두께요.
단다 디 루트 멈추죠레스
이봐.
루트도 게 멈추죠레스 나 코나즈 체도 디 단다 나중에 신유에 되버디 신유디다 디 홀리스틱 디 brain 다 values 니가로 디 제유시 컨디션 수요레스.
I think in this respect, I think these education, sort of more complete education in external world, internal world, see immediately there's a massive way where that's much
Massive.
Massive scale.
it's difficult. So I think some kind of teachers training, I think we can start. Teachers training, few hundred, and especially you see emphasis on these sort of the general knowledge they already have. Then I think then you see these ancient Indian sort of knowledge. Then I think specifically can sort of study some kind of teachers training may be worthwhile. Then each school, each college, you see, they can serve. And people notice this something useful. Then more and more people join. Then next.
Your Holiness, there's a question. How can one live a spiritual life balanced with a professional life and balanced also with a family life?
Yes, you see, celibate somewhere. That's one way. A serious spiritual practice, not necessarily be monk or nun. You can practice. So long this human brain, seed of compassion there, So therefore, spirituality, spiritual practice, not necessarily is in need some special room and a special sort of hasadiming. Because yoje
Facilities.
facility and sitting. No. While you carry your professional work, carry it honestly, truthfully, compassionate way, that's the practice of spiritual. So sometimes you see people quite strange. You see, within this sort of house, there's one separate room and some book, some sort of statues or something like that, and spend a few, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours in that. During that period, that person, spiritual-minded person, and outside that room, no longer spiritual-minded person. Silly. The spiritual practice should be part of our daily life. So you can carry your professional work, every professional work, including politics, sincere motivation, compassionate motivation, and also realistic motivation. Good. That itself, practicing because of spirituality, like that. And then, early morning, I think you get up a little bit earlier. I usually see 3:33. I always get up and some sort of meditation, mainly analytical meditation. But during night, about 6, go to sleep. So 9 hours sleep. That also one important part of my spiritual practice. So sufficient sleep, very important for our body, for our health. And then we also you see, have certain sort of technique during sleep, some practice, during dreaming, some practice. But I cannot do so properly. I'm trying some occasion, but fail. So in any way, sound sleep gives me next morning very fresh. Then at least 4 or 5 hours some meditation, thinking. Then carry daily life. These sort of are the training or analytical meditation. An early morning, it really creates some certain kind of shaping your mind. So whole days, your activities then become more positive, like that. So therefore, the profession, we need further because of the material world development and profession, engineering, or different sort of profession. We need, but carry it with sincere motivation. Then that itself is some kind of spiritual practice. Okay, next question.
Your Holiness, as a percentage of the world's population, we are more educated now than we have been in the past. Yet some would say we are becoming more intolerant and even more violent in certain ways. Is education making us like this?
No. I think education, generally, education is very important, but not adequate. Education, existing, I already mentioned, existing education very much oriented about material value. In material value, only concerned about number of money or and power or these things. In order to gain money, tricks or bully, cheating, these things happen. So now what we need, moral principle. You should be truthful person, honest person. That also, you see, ultimately your own interest. Practice of compassion brings the real sort of the kasoda help go to oneself. But sometimes the people have this sort of impression, practice of love, compassion is good kasoda,
For others.
something good for other, not necessarily you. This is totally wrong. And now some scientists, they found constant fear, constant anger, hatred is actually eating our immune system. Very bad for our health. Other hand, more compassionate mind is very, very helpful to sustain our immune system, and sometimes even increasing. So that's why, as I mentioned earlier, now usually the last several years we have some kind of also the kasoda jadanshi kasore. There's some
some kind of slogan.
Healthy body, healthy mind. So healthy mind means peaceful mind. In order to peaceful, I think any person who telling truthful, honestly, I think such person, less stress. Isn't it? Person nicely talk about motivation is try to cheating, try to lie. Then in deep inside, some stress. Isn't it? All these, any motivation, you see, something negative, then stress comes. Then I think money matter or these sort of name or these things, I think because too much stress, self-centered attitude. Less self-centered attitude, you get much more inner peace. So this, and then next.
Your Holiness, these two questions are personal to you. One is, in any difficult or painful situation in your life, how did you deal with it? And the other one is, what does happiness mean to you personally, Your Holiness?
Kasa kangen de karchons.
Donglen nangdang kades na yun.
Ka.
Donglen nangdang.
Kare.
Kunyi tre na we kapla. Donglen kades na yun. Ani degi se de kya orum chi kandeji la kongu yunas.
Kare.
Degi.
Digi.
Now,
According to Indian tradition, usually I describe, usually you see, we study text wrote by mainly 17 Nalanda masters. So one of the student of these texts, study, thinking, really immense help. How to deal with problem, how to deal with anger, how to deal with anger and hatred, all these things. So very helpful. This is not just once you understand these things, no. There are 3 levels of awareness. Awareness out of hearing, that's superficial. Then understanding or awareness out of reflection, seriously. And for that, you need skepticism. Not believe easily, not accept. This book says that. This book says something different. That's very necessary in order to analyze. Just one book, so one sort of has the
idea. One idea. Ideas.
One sort of view. You believe that, then no further development. You must have learned different views, different concept, then analyze, investigate, and experiment. Through that way, you develop second level of awareness. Now that brings conviction. Once you develop not only just mere knowledge, but conviction, out of sort of analyze, then you familiarize that days and weeks and months, years and decades, then transform your emotion, your mind. According to my own experience, of course I'm Buddhist monk and also student of these Nalanda master. Many others also, we are same. So then, in my case, last now, I think 40, 50, 60 years, analyze, thinking. So one, I think one, the non-theistic religious sort of Kasuda way is use your own mind, intelligence, then transform. So Buddhist way of sort of the Buddhist way is, particularly Nalanda sort of tradition is, use our intelligence maximum way with skepticism. Through that way, transform our emotion. It's very scientific. Buddha himself, you see, expressed, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So many Nalanda masters raise question, some Buddha's teaching. Or if you accept this literally, it goes against the reason. So we should take liberty to reject these Buddha's own sort of teaching. There's something unique. So therefore, I think the Kasuta, and then we call analytical meditation, investigate. In order to carry investigation, you need different sources, even contradictory, some different sort of views. That provides you to analyze, then familiarize. So as I mentioned, I think last 50, 60 years, I was thinking. Then gradually my emotion changed. So today, almost, you see, the attachment, anger, these almost disappear. Not through prayer, but through analyze. So therefore, through my own experience, I can tell you, you see, training our mind that use maximum way our intelligence. In that respect, even information from scientists, different field, also very useful, particularly quantum physics. And also some sort of scientists now already sort of Kasuta, they investigate variety of emotions, like Paul Ekman, on the basis of human
facial expressions. Facial expressions. Facial expressions.
Oh, love that.
The identifying the various mental emotions on the basis of the facial expressions, microfacial expressions.
So these very useful. So from different source, and take and analyze. Very helpful. Next question.
Your Holiness, many of us follow a religion from childhood. They are aware of good values. They have received knowledge from teachers and parents, but a path is still missing. There is no sense of being on a path. So how can one address this in the mind?
Shaba.
춘주 갑네 추 슈데 레스 단
맞아.
왕제
어.
밤에서는 장요
그래.
인상 장요 레스 아셈바 상부 제는 장요 레스 다리테 디즈 체니 베 담에 딱 아지 람도 미규 가리레 미규 드래기 람 가리레 어디 람도 차상으로 지미도스
Medusa.
나오
I think here is according to different philosophical views, a different tradition. It's a different way to explain. I think reach heaven, single-pointed faith towards God. And then practice like the Ten Commandments, right?
No.
Ten Commandments, and essentially practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance. So then, after that, you will reach heaven. So that's, I think, basic goal, Marve.
No.
So Bishop Tutu, my great friend, my real friend, and spiritual elder brother, wonderful. So, one occasion he expressed half a joke, teasing me. So he, as a sort of Catholic practitioner, you see, he ready to go to heaven. Dalai Lama may go some different place. So, strictly speaking, you see, reach heaven only those people who have single-pointed faith towards God. So I'm one of the ancient Indian sort of tradition, those sort of concept of God, creator. So my destination, go there. So like that. So then according to Indian tradition, even you see, believe creator, but believe life after life. So that's why you see the concept of Atma related here. From previous life to this life, to this life, next life, this body not go, not come. Mind which is related with this brain also is not come previous life or go next life. So, concept of Atma. So therefore, ultimately, Brahma or something, creator, but meantime, several lives is accepted. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Jainism and Buddhism is in no beginning of life, no creator. It's nature. Existence of mind is nature. Like a different sort of particles on this planet. Nature. No one created. And we, is very much sort of also a similar view, the Darwin theory, evolution. Then differences, why is this evolution is happen? And some extent we can explain due to this factor, it's this factor. Then some deeper level, then we say karma, karmic relations, like that. So this is a different way. So to those people who believe creator, then according your own sort of what they believe, should follow that. And then those non-believers or non-theistic, then accordingly you should follow. And as far as Buddhism is concerned, I think the Panchaparamita Sutra, Heart Sutra mentioned Gade, Para, Samgade, Buddhisa. That's our destination, step by step. And finally, our goal is Buddhahood. Next question.
Your Holiness, we are interdependent on our families, on our community and society, on the organizations that we might be part of, it is difficult sometimes to take an independent decision, to use one's own judgment. Where do we find a balance here?
So that's complicated. So thinking these complicated situation, then we celebrate as really much more freedom. Then I think you know better. I don't know.
지소 나 렉스유타
Correct.
김상시 양수수 내가 시스체
어.
초바체
어.
원테도 마부시 뜬고도스 안 타주는 지오레스
So now, as I already mentioned, I already stress, is it is society, materialistic society, and way of life also materialistic way of life. With that materialistic culture. So there are, I think, plenty of sources problem. Now we have to think, you see, how to change that. So that we already discussed through education, through awareness. So if the present sort of education system and the present way of life goes, I think this 20th century also will be similar century that of 21st century, 20th century. A lot of violence, a lot of killing. So now, I think within 20th century, early part of 20th century, later part of 20th century, there are many change. Obviously, in the early part of 20th century, you see nation, I often telling different nation when declare war on other nation. So every citizen of that country, without slightest question, they proudly join war effort. Now, later part of 20th century, that kind of thinking completely changed. One clear example, the European Union. All these member states, through centuries, fighting, killing, particularly French, German. But then, after Second World War, then the concept of reconciliation, I think Polish people, some religious spiritual leader, I think also you see they, I think involved they, on the basis of reconciliation, of forgiveness. So with these sort of certain sort of concept out of tremendous suffering, then spirit of European Union start. I think wonderful. So therefore, I think the movement for peace and against the nuclear weapon from Japan, I think this movement is now more or less, I think, all over the world. So these are signs of we human beings, through tremendous suffering, problem, we become more mature. So since within 20th century, such sort of change take place. Now, 21st century, we have to make effort. This century should be century of peace in order to create a peaceful century. That does not mean no longer any sort of source of conflict. Source of conflict always there. Different interests, it's different views, always there. So now, in order to create a peaceful century, you see, through dialogue. So often I sort of expressing, now this century, in order to create peaceful century, we must create this century should be century of dialogue. Through sense of oneness. Their interest, also my interest. My interest also related with their interest. So you see, there's no sort of basis to killing each other, to bully each other. We are same. One human family on this planet. Different religion is personal matter, personal business. Not that. Those common practice such as love, compassion, we can share each other. There's some unique sort of philosophical views, unique thing. It's private business, no problem. I think about 2 years ago in Bangalore, is one marvelous, really, because of the great, one sadhu. He really helping, providing food to I think 1,000, because of a few thousand students. Wonderful. So we one occasion we together. So then I told practice of Shila, because of morality, morality, practice of shamatha, single-pointed meditation, then also generally, broadly, practice of vipassana, analytical meditation. We are same. Hindus, Buddhists, we are same. Then the differences is concept of Atma and Anatma. And I told him, we should sort of mutual learning about these three, Shila, Shamatha, Paranja. Then concept of Atma and Anatma is our private matter, private business. So you should believe Atma. So you get the benefit from that concept. I get benefit from concept of Anatma theory. So that's private business, no problem.